Hey, beautiful girl.
Hey,
Hey. How are you doing? How you feeling right now? How you feeling right now? Okay, Pisces, the feels. How you feeling? When I was younger, at school, I used to go around to people and they'd talk or they'd be saying something, and I'd come in with like a pretend microphone and go, "How does that make you feel?" And that was something I used to do, is like a little Charlotte joke. And it just popped into my head because Pisces season we're going to talk about is all about feeling, amongst other
so
things.
did you? Okay, yeah. So did you ask them that question after you sang to them?
No, I didn't used to sing to people really. No, it was more like, if someone was saying something really serious, they were talking really seriously, and I'd be like, "How'd that make you feel?" Like, with a little eyebrow, and it was just like it
Okay.
was just to break the ice, really. But
Mhm.
I don't know where it came from. I suppose my soul, my personality, but it was just something that, yeah. Not after. No. How does it make you feel? Is this what you're going for? Okay. So so people are watching, thinking what they're talking about. Just wrote a song with Ryan, and it's about like the light workers' journey. Those people that are on a path of, um, remembering who they truly are and erasing or reprogramming the mind, erasing conditioning from past life and from this life as a child, and just like being the change in the world. And I've got got a Jess behind me, got lots of pictures of Jess who passed over in December, and actually some of this song was coming through a few days after she died because I was grieving so heavily, and it was sort of like the journey was the tears, the release, all the other pains I was feeling, and then coming into like connecting with the essence of who she is. And she was like a huge change maker in the world, and we worked together a lot with creativity. So it was sort of like, it's so nice to, yeah, to mention that, really. um that's what the song's about, but I haven't finished writing the lyrics. I just sent it to Fontana because I know you appreciate music very much like I do. And yeah, and I always send you my songs because I always get really nice support. Because it's, as an artist, it's sort of, I don't know if I'd call myself that, but if someone that does love music and creates music, it's sort of like subjective. So you don't know if it's actually good or not, but all you know is that it feels right and it feels lovely, and there's a message in there somewhere for someone. But yeah, I'll let you talk now.
Yeah.
You express.
And a healing tone. I want to add to that a message and a healing frequency through the message and through your voice. So I'm so glad that you share them with me because they are very healing to receive.
Mm.
We're talking about astrology today, so I'm guessing, you know, we talk about the Pisces season at the moment and the new moon in Virgo. But just, while we're on it with the music and stuff, the bigger picture as well right now is we're in North Node at Taurus.
Mm.
So much
Mhm.
resources to tap into in terms of on our healing journey.
Mm.
And it's now and it's ripe and we're all ready for it. We're all desiring it on a soul level. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to receive it, to give ourselves permission.
Mhm.
At first I was like, oh, I don't have time right now to listen to this. And then I was like, just surrender. Yeah, you do. You know what time it is, right? So there's a lot of grace in that. Like Taurus is offering us a lot of
Mhm.
healing, but in a grounded way, in a way where we're using all of the Venus stuff like music and beauty. And I was going to say, in all the Pisces
Mhm.
that comes into that, but in a real grounded way as well, So through our movements, like people are not going to feel comfortable sitting stationary for this year. So if people are in jobs right now and just really feeling it, like, fuck, this sucks, it's not going to be a surprise because we really need to be in our bodies moving, feeling, embracing.
Big stuff.
What's your
Big stuff coming up for me this week around physical trauma in the body, which is exactly what you said. The physicalities of Taurus. So I've got Taurus. This is big for me this time right now, because I'm, when we look at astrology, you look at your rising sign, your sun, and your moon. Now, if anyone's watching hasn't got a clue about astrology, but you know about like star signs in your zodiac, the star sign is the sun. So if you're born around this time, you might be a Pisces sun. So I'm a Pisces sun because my birthday was not long ago. But then you want to look at the moon sign, and for that you need your time of birth. Well, you don't need your time of birth for your moon actually, but go on something like astro.com or connect with me and Fontanna for like a reading. But the moon sign is your internal world, it's your emotional well-being, it's how you feel, it's how you express yourself emotionally, but probably privately, because it's not always open. The sun sign is what everyone sees you as. It's your personality, can be the ego. The rising sign is also, well, we talked about this the other day, I feel intuitively like it's an aspect of both, because you've got the sun and the moon as the yin and the yang, and that's equal. So then the rising sign or the ascendant sign, it's your early childhood, but it's also what you've been born into. And I'm a Virgo, and we've got the Virgo full moon, so I'm a Taurus moon, Pisces sun, and a Virgo rising, which is the Virgo full moon's come up in just a few days.
You're like, activate.
So from that point of view, I'm having big things happen internally, like massive trauma release. I had the most. It's your fault. It's your fault. You know it's your fault. Yeah. Fontanna sent me a link to a recorded 4-hour healing. Look, you're moving now. You're moving your body now.
I have to. Yeah, I'm honouring myself.
Can't sit still. It's beautiful. And I ended up having, just from listening to what was going on, the modality that this man uses was triggering I guess my subconscious. I don't even want to say subconscious, it was deeper than that. You got the conscious. It was literal wounds in my light body. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't even feel like it was subconscious. It was deeper than that. It was like ingrained in my auric field, in my emotional body from past lives, because I was getting awarenesses and knowing that this was past life trauma coming up now and leaving. And of course, Pisces symbolizes, it's the 12th sign, symbolizes the endings, finishing cycles. What have you got to release?
We have double endings right now. Can we just emphasize this for people who are like, oh shit, why is this not working out anymore? Why is this business? I've been having chats with people this week, why is people not showing up anymore to this service? And all these, endings is because we have so much endings. The numerology is 9 this month. So we're really, really feeling it right now.
And what does 9 mean in numerology to anyone that doesn't know numerology?
Yeah. So in numerology, the 9 being the end of the single digits, it's about cycles. So it's the end of a cycle with something, and in any area of your life. But essentially the lesson that it's teaching us is about letting go. Surrendering that everything is endings and beginnings. And it really fits. How the star system all fits together with the planets and how they align is so mind-blowing. Is why I love this work. Because Scorpio, being the South Node, that's the governing the collective right now, is all about endings also. All about endings and rebirths. Death and rebirth.
Which is basically that song I sent you. The last line is to get the gifts from your inner work. The gift of the inner work. And you said rebirth. Is a rebirth. Yeah.
It's perfect. It's really what our souls are looking for right now. And God knows, like yourself, the transformation is real. And it's really about the transformation of values. Because that's what this Yeah.
The destiny point is the North Node, and that's headed now in Taurus. So that's why we've got all this up in the mainstream about fuel going up in price, and
Yeah.
you look at the food, you'll see the increase there in the supermarkets. This fear around money and money systems breaking down, and like you and I looking at crypto and other ways to invest our money into other places, and that's what has been on people's minds.
Yeah.
One of those things. So that's going to be lasting, that energy, for over 12 months now, because it stays in the North Node for up to 18 months, isn't it? So is that
Yeah.
what you mean? Because the value obviously is Taurus, isn't it? Energy. What do we value?
Yeah.
What's important?
Yeah. So a lot of what people are experiencing right now is how we're so used to the conditioning of valuing money over ourselves, over the things that are higher than that bit of paper. So over our higher selves, our higher calling, our real truth deeply stirring within us, which is what Taurus is activating, that deep, beautiful gifts that we have in our souls, in our bodies, to express with the world. And it's really challenging with Scorpio South Node, because any hidden motives that we have, any hidden shadow that is going to block our truth from being expressed, our true calling from being chosen, is coming up right now. And it's painful for people on an ego level, because we're really faced with things we've never faced in our lifetimes. And the responsibility of that.
Do you have any examples to share about how what you say relates to the average person, like in terms of what they might be? I mean, for me, it's definitely showing up in terms of I'm being faced with trauma, which I've spent 5 years trying to access, and suddenly, spontaneously, boom. Also, I've been trying to declutter my house, and I've been trying to stop money going out. But I know I don't need what I'm paying out for. But it's only now I'm doing it. It's like that's my example. But what kind of examples come to you? Who have you got anyone you've spoken to that, you know, you can see this playing out in their world?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So as I was saying about the work, so a lot of us, and I'll talk about women, who I work with most, a lot of us women have been so pressured into the masculine way of living, of operating. And so what that means is there's this default function of constantly focusing on work and what I have to do to make money. And what Taurus is inviting us towards is, what do I have to be to allow who I really am to express, so that I can attract what I need, not the greed. So the shadow of Scorpio and South Node is we're accumulating way more than we need, way more than we need as a single person or a single family. And so it's really clear that the Earth right now, the planet right now, is saying, yo, let's revisit this, let's review this, humanity, and look at how we can take responsibility individually so that our collective is having our resources distributed fairly, but also in a way that we're moving into spiritual values now. So it's really about merging our spirit in what we do. So it is woo-woo, but it's very grounded as well. So instead of just, you know, the endless, oh, I'm going to send out 1,000 emails today, or whatever your to-do list looks like, that's very masculine focused in terms of action, It's not just about unconsciously taking action now to try and get something because we have this subconscious hidden fear of lack. It's not about that anymore. It's about, oh, the universe right now is inviting us to get back in our bodies, get back in our hearts, Venus, governing Taurus, get back into our feminine, and then start moving from a much more honouring pace of what feels right. So it's consulting our feelings before acting, and we're not used to doing that.
And especially now, Fontanna, because we're in the most feeling season, Pisces season, from mid-March to mid-April, before we start the new year with Aries.
Yeah.
It's all about the feel. Pisces is a water sign. It's the deepest water sign that swims right down to the deepest part of the ocean. That's what it represents. So it's about travelling, moving, and that's probably why I've got my flashy lights on, which I've never done ever. I've never had them on flashy, but you're moving and the lights are moving, so I feel a lot of balance with you now. The fixture. So the moving, it's the mutability, the mutable sign. So it's all. So you might find right now that 1 minute you're feeling one thing, the next hour, a day, you're feeling something completely different, and your ideas are changing, and your decisions are moving and shifting into something new.
Yeah.
Not to be hard on yourself if you change.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know what it's like to be Pisces. You're always you're indecisive, and you really believe something, and then the next day you might choose another belief or path, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It will pass. This time will pass. Aries is going to give us loads of new wonderful power and energy, and that's such an exciting time, isn't it, when we fall into the spring equinox. You see it in nature, and it happens within ourselves as well as our external world. So I love what you say. It's interesting you're talking a little about Taurus, because we decided to do a chat and record ourselves, because we're always chatting like this anyway. We thought, let's just record it. And I said, let's do something about Pisces season to help people, because I've had loads of people messaging me about, they've had dreams, they've had people dreaming about me, and they're passing on messages, and like psychic senses switching on, intuitions are very strong, loads of creative ideas. So I just thought, let's do a video about it, because I think it can be quite unsettling for those people who maybe are very grounded and plod along in their world, and then they themselves, or maybe their friend or family member, are having these unusual experiences. Pisces rules the nighttime, so that does affect our dream state. Shall we talk about that a bit? The dream state of Pisces, like what it entails and where we could go with it. I mean, it rules the unseen world, doesn't it? So a lot of mystics and a lot of creatives as well can tap into altered states of consciousness, and I feel like that is something that I've always naturally been able to do. Not all the time. There's right now, if you are a Pisces sun, for example, you will possibly find this time a little bit easier, because when you have the sun transiting your sun, i.e. around your birthday, it gives you this boost of energy, of light. So what have you had any experiences of crazy dreams or visions? Sometimes it's maybe not when you're asleep, you have these visions still. Show up in your world, because you're a Scorpio sun, so you're very also emotional, connected to your emotions, able to express them, and that's important to you. I know that. And then creativity is huge for you. Jupiter in the 5th house of creativity for you is expansion of creative gifts and the importance of that. Where's your Venus in your chart?
Libra.
Oh, that's what we're doing now, partnerships.
Exactly. Yeah, honey. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, definitely, of course, dream states right now are ripe to be taken note of, for sure. Really, really to move into action when Aries comes in a couple of weeks, with what our intuition is showing us through our dreams. And that is when we're asleep, but also in the daytime. We feel more dreamy in Pisces season, is how it is. And like you said, those ideas are circulating, ready to be backed by the power of Aries next month, and we really need to honour that and trust it, which is the Taurus North Node theme for the year. Trust what we get. Really allowing the feminine energy of this dreamy state, but what I want to say is the way that our higher self, our souls, communicate through us, to trust it, and then make sure we're taking note of it, or we forget, and then taking action on it with that trust next month.
I really feel like we're going to be supported with our visions and dreams and intuitive messages we get through dream state, or like you say, in the daytime. I think we're supported with that, and then supported next month to like, okay, what are we going to do? But hang on a minute, we've got Virgo moon in like 10 days, and the Virgo moon is a practical moon. It's like writing down a list, because Virgo loves lists and organisation and detailed. So we'll be write down all of your ideas. How can you bring the mystical dream state messages into action? First of all, let's use the Virgo full moon to write down all the things either we want to remove. So for example, I did it today. These are the things that I need to do to actually stop paying for things that I don't need on like direct debit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Virgo doesn't waste money.
God. So this is an example of how we can have the idea of more abundance, for example. So what do we need to write down before we can take action on it? That's Aries, which is also next week pretty much. So it's a that would be what I'd say. Also, what you said about the feminine. Taurus is a feminine sign. So is Scorpio, because earth and water are all feminine. So we've got Pisces, sun, feminine. Virgo, full moon, feminine. And then we're in a Taurus North Node. So let's talk about the feminine quickly. Let's talk about the feminine versus the masculine. You said this already. You touched on this. Supporting women to be more in their feminine and less in their masculine ways of doing things. I think one of the things, all I'd like to share on that before I pass over to you, is planning versus spontaneous flowing. I've noticed that in the last sort of year or so, it's been very difficult to stick to plans. We tried to do this like 2 days ago, and we couldn't even like phone each other because we kept. So it's about the feeling and discerning, like, this is what I need to do right now. It's like if I had planned my whole day, I wouldn't have been able to write the chorus of that song. It's really sad to think that that my day could have gone very different, and I wouldn't have had that beautiful experience and connection with Brian and production and creation wouldn't have, because I was sat in stillness and surrendering to the moment. I was being still and present, and went inside, and and I asked myself, what do I need? So what do you feel about any advice to help people work with the feminine energy? Maybe also if they feel quite in their masculine and they're used to having everything planned out, do you think this might be hard to them for people to navigate feminine energy? That'd be cool, Go on then, give us some advice.
I really feel so close to this, specifically because of my own chart being South Node Scorpio, North Node Taurus. So I'm really getting what people are going through right now. It's like my whole life.
Your whole life,
It's been, is that theme that everyone is experiencing, like you said, for the next 12 months. And so what I think is the most important thing for people to hear is, before they can do all of that lovely feminine stuff that we really, really are being guided to and will indeed switch over and allow ourselves to drop into and be from that space. Before that, like you just said, the challenge is we are now going to be invited to face all of the resistances to the feminine, all of the ways that our childhood, our culture, our everything else, you know, you name it, that has kept us in the masculine way of operating and relating and structuring in our life. So what that looks like, to be a little bit more specific, is the way that plays out is quite genius, because what we'll see, people will probably have already this month with Pisces being illuminated, is all of the ways that we have been shamed and how that shame has driven us into a false sense of control, which is where all this masculine action, the way we create at the moment as a society, is coming from.
Wow.
Deep rooted shame from the masculine. So it's a kind of paradox. So there's this real fear of lack that motivates this direction of work focus, so that we can get the money, that it's real survival instinct, you know, behind that. And so there's not really any way, if you're an old soul on this journey and, you know, being drawn to this sort of video, there's no way that your soul is going to bypass that in this lifetime, because there's just way too much growth and joy and transformation that your soul's going to have from facing that stuff on an experiential level, and on a Virgo, you know, willing to look at some stuff analytical, as well as with the Scorpio going deep into those traumas. There's not any way that people who are really here to embody the feminine, it's what it involves. We're going to face those feelings on an experiential level. So that's the like bigger picture of what's going on right now, is to face all the ways that the feminine's being disempowered, but all the ways that we resist the feminine because of the fear that we carry in the masculine structure right now, energetic structure.
When you talk, it's like activations, and I don't fully understand all of what you say sometimes.
What do I just think?
But I do understand. It's doing something inside of. I am responding, and I get it. I get it, and it's going to show up different for everybody.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this full moon as it's coming up, Virgo. Virgo's very much about innocence and purification and going back to innocence. You talked about this the other day, back to innocence. It's like, before you give a psychic reading, you back to innocence. So there's no ego or other voices. It's back to innocence and purity. So this could be on, it depends where it is in people's charts, isn't it? So because we are Virgo rising, we're both Virgo rising, it's happening in the chart that we identify with as ourselves, because it's in the first house of self. I think it might be 12th house for us, depends what degree your ascendant's on, but it's about it's not rebirth, but it feels like a purifying, which it could
purifying.
It could indeed mean healing on a soul level.
Yeah.
And do you know what, Fontana? Because I said, the ascendant, it's what you're ascending into this life as. it's got to carry with it past. It's coming from the past, and it's the first point. Or it signifies the first point of your whole cycle, of your whole chart, doesn't it? Because it's like just 12 a month. So I wonder if purifying past lives is it kind of makes sense, and I feel like I've got a bit more to do this week. But for other people, you know, if you want more direct, accurate support with where this is in your chart, you want to go to a website called astro.com and put in your details. You need your time of birth, but it will show up your birth chart, and then you'll see where Virgo is, or get someone who knows a bit about astrology to help guide you, because that's going to give you indication about what house, what part of your life is going through purification, is in need of detailed lists, order to be ready for Aries, but also what are you purifying to finish for good? What are you letting go of? We're in the Pisces, last zodiac sign of the year, so this is truly our new year, our end of year. We start a new year next week. So what do you intuitively feel you want to talk about, because we've only got about 5 minutes left, about Virgo and about this full moon in Virgo after Pisces Sun transit?
So one of the best things that we can do when we're doing any of this shadow work, in terms of what is in the way of us embodying the feminine, is to connect things. So what you just said about purifying, which is what Virgo is all about, purifying whatever is blocking love. In a nutshell, that's what it is, right? And so when we put that with Taurus, which is all about the body, if you want to personify, it's really about personification of purification of the body. So really revisiting our diet, that is a big thing for lots of people.
Taurus rules food. But maybe the rise in price might make us wake up to like what are we spending our money on, and is it actually also balancing? Is it actually good for, or analysing, not balancing, because balancing more Libra. Virgo, analysing, is this actually good for my body? That's what you're saying. That's one of them. But what if Virgo's in your relationship house, 7th house? Then what?
So
of relationships that are toxic. It's got to be an obvious one, but
exactly. So you want to purify the ways that you relate that have come from your traumas and conditioning, rather than from your truth, from your heart, from your consciousness, conscious intentions in the way that you relate, conscious self-reviewing, reflection, which is Virgo stuff. So really like doing that self-reflection, because your partner is a mirror of you. your unpurified stuff, should we say.
So still coming back to you. Bring it all back to you. What about if so that's for like maybe Pisces rising, or what's before Pisces, Aquarius rising perhaps. What if it was in your 10th house of career, reputation?
Career. So if we're staying with the theme of purifying, and it's really looking at why. It's your whys, like why are you doing what you're doing really? And again, it's quite easy, this is the beauty of us doing the work, because what we discover is not just ours, it's a shared shadow, it's a collective shadow. And the real root, which is what we're digging down into with South Node Scorpio, the real root is always going to come back to this core fear of death. That's it.
That's what's been plaguing me all week.
No matter what, it's always going to come back to that. When you keep going deeper and deeper, it's always going to come back to that. So it can kind of fast track people who are ready to just, you know, drop into that with awareness and let that, you know, just marinate and be felt, and all of that higher self downloads that you get from when you hear the truth to do its work, to do its healing. There's no effort involved in that. It's a real steady Taurus process, can't be rushed. But the work is to acknowledge the truth now. Taurus is all about speak the truth.
And when we purify denser, toxic energy, things that don't serve us, but also lies and you know, that there's no purity in a lie.
Yeah, of course not.
Lies can be twisted, and therefore they're diluted. It may not be. It might be a story in your head. In terms of 10th house, I wonder if it's like purifying your email list or your social media or your friends on Facebook thing for your business, or like basically letting go and ending. So for me, I am thinking about ending. I'm ending things in my like old business, and I'm getting closer with the visions Pisces to the future business, the future path, you know. Interesting. Well, this has been really good fun. I hope that I've really enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed it. It's nice to chat with you.
I think what I'm happy to close on with this is what we've recently learned as the most, you know, empowering thing of late, fitting with Pisces, and that is, with everything that I've just shared, to invite anyone who's listening to embody the compassion that Pisces right now is having us invite, again, it's that word invite, you know, invite and allow ourselves for that compassion, because everything I've shared is not easy in the slightest, but it's a lot easier to navigate when we have powerful words. And so one of the statements that we've recently received for our own journeys that I would love to pass on to people right now who are struggling with these shifts in life and the values is, I'm so sorry for all of the things that come into your awareness around what's going on right now. So it might be, I'm so sorry that you didn't expect people to not show up for you in your work or in your family. You know, it's all going to be individual based, but really just to drop into the heart and to offer that compassion to that part of our egos that are going to resist the feminine. We offer it anyway, and I'm so sorry. The compassion is the feminine energy's superpower,
and it's Pisces at his highest expression is compassion. And I've been doing this, I'm so sorry, you know, with the compassion key, with the higher self, saying it to your wounded parts. And I've noticed after doing that, my heart has expanded for other people. It's almost like I didn't realise I'd closed off the compassionate side. I think it's because the empathy hurt me. And I associated the two, but they're not the same, empathy and compassion. And so the empathy, you can feel the people's pain, and sometimes that's so too much for a sensitive person. And so watch out for that. Where are you being empathic, but maybe you need to be compassionate?
I love that. So that's a perfect statement. I'm so sorry that you decided to take on everyone else's stuff so that you could feel safe.
Self-sacrifice, Pisces, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to do that anymore, because Taurus is inviting us to connect with nature, to hold ourselves in the love of the inner mother that we may never have had, and that's the healing.
Starting with ourselves first of all. I think a lot of trauma is going to come up. So hold yourself in compassion,
Yeah.
and then I've got the word discernment as well. Discerning when to be charitable being Pisces.
Yeah.
Discerning when to be charitable and how, because there's lots of, like, I've been doing loads of donating to charity and the Toby School and just loads of and I'm working with the mental health charity. It's all happening now. And I just think, oh wow, that rules. Pisces rules charity. Hospitals, the ocean, floods, water, baths, showers, leaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we we're going to navigate through Pisces season. We've got just a few more days, so enjoy the creativity and the healing that it can offer.
Yeah, take advantage of all the creative urges that you get and eliminate. Like Taurus is really hot on eliminating anything that does not fulfill itself with satisfaction in the body. It's very, very discerning, like you said, about how we spend our time.
So this is why you and I have been dancing loads to music, because it's the movement of the energy, it's the anticipation, Virgo, and it's the and creativity, Pisces, and then it's the body.
Yeah.
We would love
anything that we've been suppressing that it's going to come up in the body. You're going to notice the body's going to show you stuff, because of the Scorpio being about what's been hidden. The body will show you what's been hidden. So if you really do want some support with those blind spots, which we all need, no matter what journey, what part of the journey we're on, then I'm available. Inbox me or email me for psychic readings right now. And I know you're doing astrology courses. I don't know what you want to offer for those to just be supported with whatever the challenge is for them right now.
Yeah, I echo what you say about blind spots. I've been doing I still go and see different healers and have different modalities, but always looking for new things to Virgo better myself, as you are. That we always have blind spots, and we're not meant to be alone, otherwise we'd be supposed to be alone on this journey, and we're not. We are supposed to be working together in community, and everyone has different gifts as well. I do one-to-one like 30-minute astrology readings at the moment, and like over online, reading people's birth charts and then questions they've got. And I'm doing it's just my own sort of trauma release in person for deeper sessions with oils and intuitive guidance and hands-on healing as well. And then I'm doing monthly dance workshops, which is like really good fun because we get to really express ourselves, and that's really healing when we do that. So should we come back in the future? Maybe we enjoyed this, so maybe we'll do next month, we'll do something about Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, fire sign. It's beautiful. I've got a North Node in Aries, so I will enjoy talking to you about that, being an Aries moon. You can send me some advice, and I'm hoping that people that will watch will be able to relate, because one of the signs that we talk about each week, they'll know that it's in their chart, or they'll know someone that has that as their sun sign or star sign. So hopefully this was enjoyable for you guys watching, and good luck with the rest of Pisces season. Enjoy your decluttering, whether it's yourself, your home, your email list. Enjoy writing your list and enjoy letting go of whatever you need to let go of.
And enjoy holding yourself with compassion.
Yes, holding yourself with compassion.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.